Go.
All 0.01%.
All right, let's start this stream. Okay.
Okay.
3D model of the rock's head.
Is there really?
Yes.
Oh yes, I've seen this before. I want to print it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Apparently, it just fed me a very loud advert for this same stream. So I'm gonna skip that ad. I don't need the ad revenue. There we go.
Well, hello to all you folks that are watching our fun stream this evening. We have no clue what we're doing. It is Saturday night. It is the TFL live show with Brian Baker over there, that way.
I'm back, baby.
And me,
Wait.
Richard.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah,
I get it right
hey.
one of these. There he is.
Let's see, who do we have in the chat? We've got 3D printing and painting. That's our good friend Jerry Knapp. We have Rex Waldy, Judd Nivens, waiting while he's on vacation out in Kelowna. So he's watching us from there. 3D printing Texan, Meatball, David Sell, Mark L. Baker, John Kitchen, Art Eckstein, and Spartan Props. There she is. She is our moderator this evening because we don't have any other moderators this evening. Oh, that's scary. I'm not sure what's scary. Oops, stupid home button.
Oh.
All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our Saturday night live stream. As you know, I'm Richard Cleveland. We're going to start a few minutes early today, so let's go ahead and just run that intro. Don't mind me, I'm just grooving away.
Yeah, I had to make sure to mute my mic because I forgot I'm not doing fancy technology here. So
there you go. So tonight we're going to do Q&A because today I was teaching our build and learn cooperation between the First Layer and spool3d.ca. We had 10 students. We had a ball today. We printed some stuff. Everybody got a printer that was working out really well, and then I went and broke somebody's brand new print. Yeah. So Richard had a moment.
there.
I was putting the nice little tool holder that she had printed for all of her tools on her Ender 3 and broke it. Because I jammed it right down on top of her printer and I broke it.
No, the problem was not enough infill.
No, there was plenty of infill. Yeah. So I broke it, so I have to apologize to Lynn, and I'm going to apologize here on the show. Lynn, I'm sorry I broke it. But she wanted to print it in black anyway to match her 3D printer. So,
well then, why not?
What do we have new that is coming up? Well, we got a whole bunch of stuff into the studio this week. We got some filament. We got some filament from our friends at Sunlu.
Ooh.
Yeah, we got some wood filament from Sunlu.
Ooh.
We got a roll of blue silk PLA from our friends at Iron.
Is that how you pronounce it? Someone else tell us. Ryone. You tell me how to pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it. I have no
I thought it was Irion.
No clues. I tried putting it into Google, tell me how this is pronounced, and it would spit out nothing.
It was so.
Yeah, it doesn't recognize anything. Spartan's telling me I have sausage fingers. Yes, I have sausage fingers. Meatball says, "Good job."
So delicious.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, break somebody's new stuff. Urion, 3D printing is saying 3D printing and painting is saying Urion. Okay.
Urion. Okay.
Urion.
All right.
So we got some blue silk PLA, and from them we're going to be testing. We got in from Tim Hoogland over at TH3D. We got in his Easy bed mat Easy flex plate system. That's the word I was looking for. Easy flex plate system. Hey, there's Rick Landon in Virginia. Welcome, sir. So that was interesting, and very soon Derek Brown, who is one of our viewers and one of our friends over on Facebook, has hooked us up with our friends over at TiVo. And we should be receiving a TiVo Tarantula Pro to do a review and build video very soon.
That sounds good. I'm looking forward to
Yes.
it. I haven't seen a new printer in a while, so
And apparently, I won a board. I'm not sure
yeah.
what that's all about.
We'll see it, what, August, October, somewhere in
November.
there. Yep.
So apparently,
Just keep
I
at
won
it.
an SKR E3 mini board to go into the Ender 3. When that comes, we'll be sure to do a video on it for sure, so you guys get to see it.
Absolutely.
SKR 1.3 do's and don'ts, 3D printing Texan. Yes, we have SKR boards. Both Brian and I have SKR boards. We are going to do videos on the SKR board very soon. We're going to start to record them. We have a little bit more testing we want to do with them first before we reveal our results to you.
And I'll be honest, mine's a bit delayed. I decided to try and install it in a Tico, and that machine was so poorly built, I was just like, forget it. It's still sitting in pieces.
Yeah, so we are working on that for you guys. So those videos will be coming. We've got some more videos coming out this week. For anybody that has seen now, quick little bit of news from the channel. We no longer are going to be participating on Patreon. And with that said, I want to thank everybody who has helped us over on Patreon. I know it's been a really rough and rocky road, and it just got to the point for me, and I'm sure for Brian and the rest of the team, that it's a lot of work to put into a place that is not really going anywhere. Patreon, my understanding, because they take a fair large chunk off the back end, we see, from that much. So they take a fair decent chunk. So we've decided that we're no longer going to be using Patreon for the foreseeable future. So we have started to put all of the painting tutorials that we're doing on the Superman up onto YouTube. So in the interim, we are going to see a new episode every Monday and Wednesday, because we've got enough recorded episodes that we can kind of fill those time slots, and our Saturday night shows.
We can talk about it a little bit too there, that the fact is we just couldn't generate enough exclusive content without it impacting the YouTube channel.
That's right.
It just wasn't worth it. I mean, we love people donating money, but if you're running just a donation thing with nothing to return, then what's the point? So we'd rather grow this channel at this point anyways.
Yeah, and I think that everybody can have this stuff for free. That was our original intention anyway, and let YouTube kind of fill the bill. And I think with the painting episode, the very first one that came out, it's been very well received so far. So thank you everybody who has watched it. If you haven't watched it yet, we are doing this guy right there. So we're going to get back to him this week. We're going to do some more painting on him. Well, let me put him back where he belongs. You'll notice in the background here we have a Wanhao Duplicator 7. We've got more videos coming out on resin printing in the near future as well. So we're going to start to do that. Let's take a look and see what's going on over here in the chat. Rick Landon's asking, in Cura 4, how do you make changes to supports to make easy to remove in stock settings? Is 0.15, is it too thick and it's hard to remove and tears the print? Reduce that down. I think what he's saying is that the
gap between the print and the stuff. Yeah, I mean, 0.15. It also depends on what your steppers are set to, right? Because 0.15 is not an effective sizing for that. I'm just kind of loading up Cura on the side here to see what that gap is labeled as, and then maybe maybe you can play with that and you do some test prints just to see if the gap is. It's a very, very fine balance. So you got to have.
It
You need
is.
to make sure your horizontal width is big enough. You got to make sure it's not too much of a gap or it won't even bind, and then you'll get a big blob, which is worse than damaging the print. There's a whole bunch of fun things there. So let's
Yeah, so
take a look.
we'll talk a little bit more about that. I think I've got on the board at the studio. I have set up a list of videos that I want to make, and Cura Supports is definitely one of those videos. Now, I
Mhm.
admitted to my class today that I don't use Cura all that often, and I'll be honest with you guys, I don't. I use Simplify 3D. Now, if I were buying a brand new printer today and just getting into the hobby, would I go out and buy Simplify 3D right now? The answer to that is a definite no. Um, Simplify 3D right now is going through some changes. They're going to be releasing Simplify 3D version 5, and they've already made an announcement that all previous owners of Simplify 3D will have to pay for the upgrade. So, is it going to be worth it? I don't know. We're going to have to just wait and see. But right now, for free software, Cura 4.1 is definitely the way that I would go if I were new to 3D printing or I couldn't afford something like Simplify 3D. I think it is a great way to go. Raymond Emsley says, my SKR Pro will be here on Monday. We are
Ooh.
going to be comparing the Pro to the non-Pro version. Thanks to Raymond, who's getting that board, and it should be here very soon. So 3D printing text, and I do 0.28 for a 0.2 layer height.
Yeah, for that Z gap, it's called support Z distance,
That's right.
and it's a hidden setting under support. Just for reference, Creosum has it set to the same height as the layer height. So at 0.16 is a 0.16 layer.
Gotcha.
That's probably pretty good. I haven't played with the other settings.
Okay. Jess Foreman, welcome. Um, let's see. Settings for both slicers, please. Rick, are you talking about for Cura and for Simplify 3D? We will probably publish those on our Facebook page in the upcoming weeks. 3D printing text, it says they're taking the Microsoft model. I think everybody is taking the Microsoft model where they are doing subscription based. I mean, Office is a subscription base, and a lot of the other programs out there. I use Adobe products, and they are subscription based.
I
So
was going to say,
that
but
may be the way they go.
that was for sure the two companies that started this whole subscription idea. And
Gotcha.
unfortunately, that's what happens when you have a monopoly. So, just for fun, I want to see from you guys in the chat, what feature would you expect to see in Simplify 3D 5 to make it worthwhile to upgrade? I'm just curious, I know for me, it would have to be number one, really good tree supports, and number two, different routing methods. Because right now, it's good, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'd like to see more infill options, different support styles. Everything Cura has put out in the past year has put it leaps and bounds ahead of where Simplify 3D is right now.
I agree.
So, what do you guys think?
Jess Foreman just bought the Elegoo Mars on Amazon after seeing the video Uncle Jesse put out about it. Couldn't pass it up at 250 comes Monday. Clayton, or Uncle Jesse, has done an amazing job with that Elegoo Mars printer. He's still learning it. I'm still learning my Duplicator 7. It is a new learning curve for 3D printing, I will tell you that.
Mhm.
So be prepared to get a little messy. Make sure that you have the proper safety gear, which means latex or nitrile gloves. Please make sure that you've got proper eye protection. And if you're using a resin that has a high odor, please make sure that you're using proper ventilation. Rover, hello, sir. Rover is another one of our, and Raymond Emsley is one of our chat moderators. So Uncle
Yeah,
Jesse didn't have much to say about the monoprice resin printer.
Okay, let's talk about brief moment for Monoprice. That was my first printer, Monoprice. It was a Maker Select Mini V1 because it was on Amazon Prime Deal in Canada, right when these printers were very early on. It was an all right printer, but they just buy this third-party company. In that case, it was a Malian, and they rebranded it as their own. And as a result, it's all custom. It's all very limited for support. Monoprice is good for a lot of things. 3D printing, though, I'm going to take a pass on that.
I've never owned a Monoprice. I have worked on a few.
Mhm.
I'm not a big fan of them. I think that they use substandard parts. Now,
That's
I
fair.
will say this. Some of the Monoprice products are rebranded from Wanhao products. So they're the exact same machine, like the Monoprice i3 is
Mhm.
basically the Wanhao i3. It's exact same machine. So is their Plus version. Is the Monoprice i3 Plus is the Wanhao i3 Plus.
Mhm.
Um, so there are some printers that they just buy and just put their own name on it. Now, do I like Wanhao? I absolutely love Wanhao. I think they've got great printers. They do a great job. Their support is hit and miss. Fortunately enough, I've been able to, and I'm sure Brian, you're the same way, that I've been able to learn about how to repair the printer when it goes down. And I've
Yeah.
been able to do that on different printers that I don't even own. A good example is using uh, Prusa.
Mhm.
Actual Prusa branded printers. I've fixed many of them over my tenure or during my tenure at Spool 3D. I have one coming in. We are going to build it right from the ground up. We are also having a multi-material add-on for it coming in as well. This is going to be brought in by a customer of ours, and he has graciously said that we can build it for him on air and use it as an episode. So we're going to be doing
Ooh,
that.
nice.
So you guys are going to see a lot more builds in terms of printers coming up. You're going to see a lot more project-based stuff, more painting from me as well. Brian, what do you got coming up?
Well, I have been spending very scattered amount of time playing with this little guy.
And what's that little
So,
guy?
so this is the brand new Raspberry Pi 4. Now, will it actually benefit 3D printing? I don't think so. But it does have some really nice features that are going to jump it ahead in what it can do in addition to things like Octoprint. So, obviously there's the new HDMI outs for projects. Bear in mind, 3D printing and Raspberry Pis go hand in hand. So just the ability that we'll be able to go and print some custom cases and turn this into quite a powerful little machine to do what you want to. It's going to be a lot of fun. But we now have gigabit Ethernet. We have two USB 3 dedicated lanes. And one of the undocumented features that I'm excited to play with is they actually added a USB host functionality to the charging port. So now this model here can emulate keyboards, it can emulate audio devices, it can do all sorts of stuff. So, they're still working on the builds of Octoprint and Octopi, so I really haven't had a chance to give it a trial run. But I mean, given that it's going to be the same price point, this is the 1 gig model, bear that in mind. I do have a 4 gig coming in, I think it says about Thursday now. But will you need more than the 1 gig for running Octoprint and Octopi? Absolutely not. So yeah, I've been playing with this. Nothing much there. The beast behind me has been a right pain in my rear, so I'm switching back from a PEI sheet to a mirror to see if that helps resolve things. But I've also been dealing with some bugs with Marlin 2.0, at least the build that I pulled in regards to G28 and G29 with conflicts. So hopefully once that's resolved, we can start, building it a bit more for release structure, if you will. I know
Right?
there's still changes going to it. So yeah, I've just been on the diagnostics and fighting side. How about yourself?
For me, it's been a lot of painting and printing and playing with the new resin machine in the back. Um, 3D printing PA is asking, did I ever finish the build that I was doing months ago? No, I have not finished that. We are going to finish that Prusa Bear build. I will get it done, and we will put more episodes up for that, and then we'll put them all on a playlist. So I do apologize if people are waiting to finish their printers.
Yeah.
But we are taking the bed that is on it. Go ahead.
It's not, I was going to say it's not really a technical delay. It's just it got stuck on the back burner. So
yeah,
the original schematics are still the same. We've just changed to a 24-volt bed.
Yes.
Finally.
And we are going to put the SKR board on that. I was originally going to put an MKS board, but we're going to use that 32-bit SKR board, and that's the one we're going to put on it, and we'll show you guys all that when we get there. Can I run two 3D printers, or can Pi run two 3D printers at the same time? Rick Landon is asking. That's a question for you.
Yeah, it can. Bear in mind, hang on. There we go. Hello, camera. Thanks for the autofocus. It can. In fact, Octoprint is very low on the resource side. The thing that actually draws the most power is the video converter runtime if you want to have a webcam. So don't try and run 4 cameras off it. It doesn't run very well. But with that said, I mean, I'd cover it in a video, but it's kind of a pain in the butt. Chris Riley, though, over at Chris's Basement, I think he went and got 4 printers running off the same Raspberry Pi. So, you know, good on him. Just make sure it'll run. You could probably put 8 of them on there, but as soon as the processor starts getting bogged down and your G code starts getting delayed sent to the printers, then you're going to have some big issues, which is why I had issues with this guy. So
let's talk about that thing.
Well, I just don't want to burn down my place yet. I mean,
gotcha.
The problem is when you generate code for a laser engraver, it uses your fan, your part cooling fan output. And so what it does, it says move 1 millimeter, then set the temperature or the pulse width modulation is like 70%. Then move it again 1 millimeter. Then keep moving 1 millimeter increments until it says, okay, turn off the laser. Now, when you're feeding that much G code over a USB connection, it's going to saturate Marlin's buffer. And in my case, it would run and get right up to the edge of where it was going to turn off the laser and then wait while it processed other commands while burning at the same point at 70%. So is it a problem with this laser? No, this laser works great. And in fact, this laser will easily burn down your place. It's quite powerful. But with that being said, is Marlin and is USB printing the right way to go for that? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I'm kind of, you know me, I've always been gun shy when it came to lasers, putting them on your 3D printer, and I think it's, at the end of the day, it's the wrong way to go. However,
let's talk for a moment on that. So the number one thing we always emphasize with your 3D printer, with any build of Marlin, is enable thermal runaway protection.
Yes.
Now, why do we do that? Because if you don't enable that, there is nothing monitoring the temperature of that hot end to say, whoa there, we're not going the right direction. That may be applying way more heat than we want, right? Because what burns down a place, it's not your hot end. It's the fact that your hot end runs so hot that it ignites the wires, it ignites everything else. Now we introduce a laser, okay? This is just a DC barrel power jack. I go plug this into a power outlet, give it 12 volts there, runs at 100%, I'll be popping balloons till the cows come home. However, if I'm holding that right there at you the whole time, and how do you monitor that, right? Let's say you're not burning at the right rate, or the G code forgot to shut off the laser. Well, that thing's going to keep on burning. There is no thermal runaway protection. You can't put a camera in place. You can maybe put in your own smoke detection system, but at that point, you know, that's a lot of investment on that. There are better ways to cut with that. So with that being said, if I actually get this up and running, this is never going to be running unless I'm sitting right beside it, which is a scary proposition given that most laser engraving things are a couple of days on this system. So it's been a fun experiment. I mean, I only paid $35 Canadian for this because someone I knew was selling one used. So I figured, what the hey? Don't buy this. Please don't.
There you
I don't
go.
want you guys burning down your place.
I will agree with you. I've been offered lasers in the past, and I am not taking any lasers from any company. I don't care who they are. To me, they are not a safe product when they are located on your 3D printer. I think if you're going to buy a laser, buy the right laser. Buy an actual laser, a benchtop, or you can get smaller ones that are benchtop and they're fully enclosed and they use the proper tubes and cooling and that sort of thing. And if you're going to go laser, that's the way I would go. I wouldn't buy one of these chintzy little lasers that you stick on the front of your hot end and say, okay, burn me my fancy name or half-naked woman on the back of my phone case. Because you can damage stuff and you can burn down your house.
That's one of the few activities I would say to pay somebody just to do the work, unless you are going to manufacturing, because a good CO2 laser will set you back about 15 to 20 grand. So estimate your costs, right? It's same with 3D printing. Would you buy a $1,500 3D printer? If so, what's your criteria? Same thing goes with lasering. This is like, I'm going to shoot myself for potential sponsors here, but this is the equivalent of mono-pricing a laser job.
There you go. There you go. Okay, so Louis Eric, he says, it would be so easy in firmware to cut the beam if the position has not changed in, say, a minute. Yes, it would be, and I'll agree with you on that. However, here's the caveat. Because the boards that are in these Creality machines, because we're talking about Creality laser here, they don't have a great big buffer for holding commands. Commands are sent almost two at a time, and that's it. So it has to get rid of the previous command before it can buffer in another command. And that takes some time. What's that?
Mine was running on a 32-bit board.
There you go.
So, and I've got, I believe, 10 to 12 commands at a go, and that wasn't enough. Now I've got more memory. Sure, I can increase that buffer to 50 for all I care, but should I? I don't know. It's again just the simple fact of, even if I resolve it and I get this going on there and it doesn't have buffering issues, would I be comfortable leaving this alone? And the answer is no. When I was running it, I was already, even with the wood that they sent me and all that, I was smelling it. It stunk. Now, do you have the proper ventilation systems, or are you prepared to put it out in a concrete well so if it does catch fire, you're not at a loss? And with that, are you going to risk it against your whatever price 3D printer? I mean, a CR10S was $700, $800 or so.
And Ender 3 even in Canada, yeah.
And by the way, these do not work out of the box on the Enders. Why? Because this is only a 12-volt laser. All the Enders are 24 volts. Do you want to light this thing on fire over something stupid like that? I've seen, I think Teaching Tech and a few other guys, they installed switching regulators in line, but again, that's a lot of work just for a bloody laser engraving.
Especially if you're still fairly new to 3D printing. What I teach in the class, and I want to kind of cover this, is that if you're new to 3D printing and you've never 3D printed before, don't throw a brand new engine into your Ferrari because you don't need to, especially if your Ferrari's brand new. Same thing goes with printers. Don't take them apart and add all kinds of brand new parts until you've driven it and had some fun with it and learned the ins and outs and what you like and what you don't like about the printer. Then do some research, and I recommend that everybody do research. Do some research. Get your printers tuned up. With any Creality product, my first upgrade is always the hot end, and I will go to a Micro Swiss hot end each and every time. And that's not because Micro Swiss pays me to say that. They are not a sponsor of this show. I just really like their product, and I think it's really well done. So, lasers, not good on your
No.
3D printer. That's the lesson for today.
And one last note before everyone tells me, hey, you put in all the safety stuff and it'll work fine. This, by default, with every laser engraving program I have played with in the past week, because it's not like I just didn't try it. I actually did try it. All of them work like your old school inkjet printer. They print a pass, move up 0.1 millimeter, print a pass, and they go back and forth and draw it like an inkjet printer. So it's not doing a dynamic draw around like your routing would on a 3D slicer. And that's on paid software. I was playing with Lightburn. I was playing with a bunch of other ones. It's just because it's too complex for them to calculate the exposure requirements on different directions and lengths. Similar to Marlin, Cura. Cura actually calculates how much flow is required to achieve that line width on the whole thing, right? This stuff's not doing this yet. So all you're doing is getting basically a scan pass of going back and forth. And even with that, you have to tune your module every time for it. It's just a big headache, honestly. So please, no lasers. No.
Did you get safety glasses with yours?
I did. Do I have them here? I think I do, actually.
Gary T has a great comment. He says, stop by your local makerspace if you need to use a laser. Most makerspaces have them, and we have some really good makerspaces here in Calgary. We've got Fuse 33 and what's the other one?
Protospace.
Protospace. I almost said Protopasta, but that's a Philippine.
Yeah, Protopasta. If we had them in town, well, it'd be different sponsorship, that's for sure.
So I want to let you guys know that we're halfway through the show, and we have canceled our Patreon. We do have Super Chat turned on. It's that little money sign that you see down at the bottom. If you really want to support the show, you can go ahead and toss us some coffee money that way. So that's always available. If you'd like to, in the description, I believe there is a link, I think, to our Teespring where you can get a t-shirt like the one I'm wearing right here. I'm sporting. These are kind of nice. They're very comfortable. You can get t-shirts, you can get mugs, you can get bags, you can get sweatshirts or hoodies. The t-shirts are also available in both men and women's sizes. So go to our Teespring store, check that out. That's my little advertisement for tonight.
We still have coffee. I forgot about that.
Yes, we still do have Buy Me a Coffee, and every once in a while somebody will throw some change in there and buy us a coffee.
So if that Patreon money is really burning a hole in your pocket, buy me some coffee.
Yeah, there you go.
I do like coffee. I mean, I've resorted to, let's see if that's there we go. That's non-branded. Yeah, sure.
There you go.
To energy drinks.
The Louis Eric is asking why we canceled our Patreon. It just wasn't growing. Partially that is my fault. I just couldn't keep up with it. With working at Spool 3D and writing and producing and hosting the show and painting and everything else, I was getting very little sleep and not spending a lot of time with my family. And it wasn't growing. And again, that was my fault. So save everybody the pain, save everybody the hit to their wallet every month. We just shut it down. As of the 15th of this month, it will be completely shut down. The page will be gone. Will we bring it back? Maybe later down the line when things kind of level out. Will we have to bring it back?
From the subscription model on YouTube. I mean, it's
we're almost at 10,000 subscribers. So when we hit 10,000, a few more doors open up for us. So that helps a great deal for the bottom line in helping to keep this channel going. Because right now this channel is mainly funded out of my pocket with a little bit of YouTube money that we do get each and every month. And then, Brian will kick in a few bucks here or there or pick up something for the studio. And we really appreciate that.
Stuff for no reason. So
what's that?
I buy a lot of stupid stuff for no reason.
And then drops it off in my lap. Here, you can use this.
Like what do I have in here right now? I guess I've got all my filament is downstairs. I did actually bring the nylon for once. Oh, I actually found this too. My big roll of monoprice cleaning filament from Amazon.
Oh, there you go.
100 grams for a whopping $30. Did it work? We'll see in the future.
Ah, there you go. What else? Okay, I just covered that one. Do you have 16 or 20 ounce mugs? I think they're 16-ounce mugs.
No, I thought they were pretty small.
I have to go check.
Nothing beats the 64-ounce mug I got from Think Geek, because they're going out of business.
Right?
Yeah. So I got a mug probably about this big. I'll post some photos on the group at some point. Sitting in my office, but I think they only make like 8 and 12-ounce mugs on Teespring.
Really?
Yeah. Well, Teespring's just like a clothing store, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So we're not actually selling merch outside of that. I think we did. Which one did we try there for a while? I can't remember.
We tried one other one very, very early on. What is it saying? Sorry, it's not a valid login. What do you mean it's not a valid login? I hate Teespring sometimes.
Yeah, and Teespring I think is to order, right? Like,
yes.
And that's the problem. That's why the prices are where they are. Is if you go to a big bulk supplier, you might be able to get them for way cheaper, but that involves you buying, I think, batches of at least 20 to 30 usually, which is kind of tough with where we're at right now. So we just don't want to hold inventory and have to deal with shipping and such.
That's part
but
of it.
I was
I don't
say,
have the
Teespring
money to hold inventory.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, then we have to ship internationally, all that. It's terrible. But we're working on some stuff. As I said, it's going to be a lot easier. I kid you not, when we cross 10,000 subs, so if you haven't already, we'd appreciate the subscription. That's the best way you can help the channel today.
Absolutely.
And it's free.
It is.
Now, I found my temptation purchase of the day. It's very tempting. This company called Try Gorilla on Amazon is selling they're selling Anycubic photons for $3.99 Canadian.
Wow.
That is very, very tempting. But you know what? I think I'm gonna wait to see how your WANHOW works out there, because I've seen how the photon produces and I like it.
It doesn't tell you what size this mug is. I'm sorry. It doesn't tell you.
Does Teespring offer mugs? I thought they did.
Yeah.
Oh.
We've got T-shirts, we've got mugs, we've got little tote bags.
Oh, there's the mug. I'm sorry.
There it is.
I was looking at the.
So there is the mug. I think is an 11 or 12 ounce mug. Sorry, I think it's only a 12-ounce mug.
Coffee mugs. That's a shirt about coffee mugs. It's so hard to find this information. That was why I stopped using Cafe Press back in the days. You couldn't actually sample any of the products. You had to pay full price for anything you wanted to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've done that. But at the end of the day, there aren't no mug like 40-ounce mugs.
Oh, yeah.
Well, 40 ounces is pretty big. I'm kind of partial to 750 mils.
There you go. 2.6, as we call it up here.
You have a problem when you have two of these underneath your desk and they're empty.
Oops. Clearly they fell over.
Yeah, somebody just dropped them off. So Rex Waldy says a 12-ounce mug. He has one. Thank you very much, Rex.
We have one in the shop. It's just we don't have it here.
Yes, it's in the studio. Rick Landon says, I like to buy stuff and only use PayPal. I think you can use PayPal on Teespring. I'm pretty sure you can.
All depends. I mean, PayPal, they have a really high fee structure, but I like PayPal myself. I use them quite a bit for all my transactions. There's an extra layer of safety and whatnot. But for a vendor, I can understand why companies won't actually take it. Yes, Teespring does accept PayPal.
Yes.
Just
So-
check that. Yeah.
So if you are interested in getting some merch, PayPal, you can purchase through PayPal. We're not setting up any donations through PayPal, just so you guys know. We talked about this as a group, and I'm just not comfortable with donations. The best way to help out the show is watch the episodes, tell your friends, share the episodes, comment down below, help us to get that engagement. Even if you just say you did a crappy job, that's fine too. It's all engagement. If you give us a thumbs down, it's engagement. Not all of our episodes are going to be winners, and that is just the nature of the beast. We're going to have some real winners. The Creosum video was a real winner.
If you care about Creosum, well.
It was a real winner, and we are slowly starting to get more content out to you guys. So watch for more painting, watch for more videos that are coming out. I hope you guys liked that one video that we did regarding maintenance, because I think everybody needs to know about doing maintenance on your 3D printers. And yes, Jerry has bought us many, many coffees. Thank you, Jerry.
Richard got them all. Buy some coffee for me.
Oh, sorry. Texas teacup.
Texas.
You know, if somebody wants to make us a great big giant cup, this is normally what I drink my Jack Daniels in. If somebody wants to make us a really big cup that has our logo on it, great. Go for it. I'd love to see it. Take videos.
This is now my time to bug you. You got to plug in your camera. She's running low battery.
Oh, I might have to change the battery.
Oh, wait. Boop, 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 boop. There we go.
It's up there in that corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see if I got another one in here.
So 3D Printing Texan, aka our good friend Ben Brady, is saying, I appreciate all the videos you guys do. Thanks, buddy. We do, you know, the reason we have weird delays is because we don't just put out content for the sake of putting out content. It does take a little bit of time. And it varies, right? So sometimes we can get, well, Richard right now, he's going into the studio every Saturday for 9 hours solely to record.
12 hours.
12 hours. Okay, so he's doing the long ones. And
I'm going to switch to you, Brian.
Okay.
While I change batteries.
We could get one episode out, or we could get 4. And sometimes we don't even get one. You know, Richard had to edit the video I was doing last time, and yeah, it did not go well. So that video is still in hiatus. There is some stuff I'm planning right now, but I have to get it more user-friendly. I like to give you guys kind of introductory stuff, and I don't want to bombard with advanced topics or anything quite yet until we at least have a basic fundamental in there. That's why I'm not touching Fusion stuff right now. It's why I'm not touching different modeling software, why I'm not touching mechanical design. There's a lot of ups and downs to that. So I just want to make sure we get high quality content to you guys. So if there is a delay, we'll at least try to announce it from here on out. But we are working as hard as we can. And we all have day jobs. Yes, I actually do have a day job, as much as it seems like I don't do squat. I'm actually a lot on the go with development, and this past month has probably been the first time I have not been on the road for weeks at a go. So come August, that is changing a little bit. My availability is going to actually get worse. So as you can see, behind me here is the CR10 Monster that I am trying to get going so I can get some printing going, but I've only had about 30 minutes per night to play with it. There's another CR10 further over, another problem, the Ender, some problems. Everybody has problems, okay? Just because we know what we're talking about doesn't mean it's always working. Who has professional TV station know-how, Rich? Rick Landon wants to know.
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, I've got, remember, we have all that television equipment that is now sitting in my hallway that we are not using.
And you know what? I took a year of broadcast technology here in Calgary, and so I do have broadcast experience. It's just, it's a dying dying breed, really. It's all automated these days. So
Yes.
if you guys ever want to talk, the first layer of the Facebook group, we're always going to keep it for 3D printing related. But if you guys just want to talk about technology in general, we also do that too.
We can do one of these live streams where we just talk about different technologies.
Exactly. I mean, for instance, our broadcast studio, I'm going to call it that because it quite literally is very close to a broadcast studio now. We run all of our video cameras over a technology called SDI instead of HDMI. We run Blackmagic systems. We had an A10, or is it A10 or A10?
ATEM. Yeah.
Yes.
ATEM.
And most of that is because, you know what, Richard, why don't you talk a little bit about your history pre the first layer?
Oh, pre the first layer. Wow. Ben Brady's probably the only one in our chat tonight that knows how far back I actually go. My history, I started as a disc jockey in a bar when I was 17 years old. So that's where I kind of cut my teeth in the professional world, as it were. Then I went to work on radio. I worked radio in Thompson, Winnipeg, and Toronto, as well as Brandon. I was in all four of those markets. I was not a big fan of radio. Radio to me is boring.
It
So
really is.
boring. Because you're there by yourself 9 times out of 10, because I usually did the weekend shows, so I always did the evenings right after midnight before we went to, whether it be a satellite stream or we just shut down for the rest of the night. In the Thompson market, we were off the air by 1 a.m. And most bars were closing at 1 a.m., so there was no music to go home with. And I really, really find it very boring working in a little tiny studio by myself. So, now that being said, the studio at Spool 3D is a really tiny studio. And we've had to make concessions for the way that we do things. Then I started, after I went back and got all my certifications for IT, I really had a hard time with IT. It wasn't that I didn't know what I was doing. I just had a hard time with stupid people. With simple little things that anybody should be able to do and know. So
30 years later, nothing changed.
Yeah, nothing's changed. So um, I've worked with bands, I've worked in television, I've worked in movies, I've worked in radio. What do I like doing best? I like creating my own content. I've had several shows on YouTube over the last 10 years, starting with the PC Basement, which I think there's probably a few episodes of that still floating around. Then I did a show called Between the Pages, which was a comic book and geek culture program, which lasted for 66 episodes and 3 years. That ran on for 3 years, and my co-host and I decided to part ways amicably. We're still very, very good friends. And Jason Bishop, who has his own podcast now, all about movies and remaking of movies and who would you cast. And I've been on the program once, and they've invited me back to the program again. I like what I do now. I have some freedoms where I work for Spool 3D during the day. I also have some freedoms to do the show at the store. So it allows me to make calls, get in touch with people when I'm not helping customers. And my main focus is to help customers, help out the marketing with Spool 3D, help them gain a bigger foothold in the market. And I also do a lot of the repairs at Spool 3D as well. So that's kind of where I'm at, I guess.
And just for comparison, this is something, it's a bit premature because we're going to go based off channel creation date and not when we actually started rolling out content. But
yeah.
As of just about 2 weeks ago, we celebrated our 2nd anniversary. And
Correct.
We currently have 217 video uploads to the channel.
There you go. So
we've been piling out content.
Yes, we've been pumping out content for the last 2 years. Now, our official date of videos is October 4th. So that's when we will have our second anniversary episode. I'm not going to prematurely celebrate 10,000 until we are at 10,000.
Oh, that's not a comment.
What's that?
That's not a comment on somewhere.
No, we love the guy, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're not going to prematurely celebrate 10,000 until we hit it. With that, few more opportunities financially will open up for us and for more products for you guys to see. Right now, Spool 3D does not give us a monetary kickback for the channel. They allow us to use the space to go in and record episodes for you. They allow us to use their products to show you when new products are coming in or new printers. A lot of the printers I've unboxed on the show are out on the sales floor because they've come in and one ends up in my office and all I get told is do a video. So I do a video and then it goes back out on the floor. So I don't get to keep it. While that is said, I do own a number of printers and I will own a few more very soon. So I really like what I do, and I like bringing content to you guys. And when I got started doing 3D printing, and not a lot of people have heard this story, but when I got started doing 3D printing, there was not a lot of videos out there that actually taught 3D printing. Most people were like, this is what I printed. I used these settings on that printer. Look how nice it came out. I used this filament. Have a nice day. I really, really liked wanting to learn, but there was nothing out there that really showed me what I was doing wrong. So I learned by trial and error, and if I had to do that, I felt that there was a lot of other people in that same boat. Some people are more mechanically inclined than others. Some people gravitate to 3D imagery better than others. So I started the program with that thought in mind, that I was going to gear the show to beginners. It has grown way beyond that ever since. And it's because of you guys. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything that you guys do to get the word out about the first layer. And we are going to do an episode very, very soon where we give some shout outs to some lesser known channels that have some really good content. Some of those people are in our chat tonight, and we are going to talk about them in a very, very soon future episode. I just think that because they've been with us for so long, they deserve a shout out. And I've given shout outs before, and people know that. What else do we got going on? Let's take a look. We've got some things. Rover saying, this is why we call them IT10T people? ID10T people.
Yes. Do you realize?
Okay.
Come on.
Yeah.
What does it look like, Richard? What does it look like? What does ID10T look like?
Oh yeah. Okay, I know. I'm not going to say that word. I'm not going to say that word. Richard, have you been spocking any fivers lately? Spocking any fivers? No, I have not. I've seen that on Facebook. Ben made a joke about me turning one of our national heroes into Spock. I have never done that myself, although I am a bit of a Star Trek fan. I've never done that myself.
Hang on. Do we? Okay, and you got to understand why. Here's the Canadian $5 bill.
Yes,
right?
That's the new one.
It's plastic money. It's actually really cool. You can throw it in the bath and everything, and it won't melt. To actually Spock this, which is the equivalent of drawing Spock on, and you're gonna, it's John A. McDonald, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, sorry, it's Wilfrid Laurier. Laurier, because we're so great at knowing our prime ministers.
It used to be McDonald.
It did.
On the old five, it was.
Yes.
On the old five, it's McDonald. Yes.
So yeah, that's it's something that Canadians did do, but that's been happening for like 6 or 7 years. I think it was just one guy who drew them.
Yeah, I think it's just made its rounds. David Steele, I'm a newbie. Well, congratulations on being a newbie. And Thanks
Welcome to
for
the club.
showing up on our chat tonight. Just bought a CR10S Pro. The bed has a big hump in the middle. I have the Creality conductive sensor and like it. What are my options for a flatter bed? In all honesty, on the CR10S Pro, I'm going to say get yourself a mirror and put that mirror in place of the humped bed that you have.
Now, bear in mind that will completely mess up the Creality ABL.
Yes, it will.
Because the sensor does not detect glass, it will detect the metal underneath. So if you want to keep using that, that sensor, I'm going to gamble that your bowing, if you will, the bubble, is going to be on, I think that one's magnetic build plate, is it not?
On the Pro, no, it is not. It is two pieces of aluminum stacked together.
Oh, okay. I would replace those.
Yes.
Because it's just unfortunately a nature of either poor quality control or poor adhesive selection. But did it come like that? Let's start with that. Did it come like that out of the box? If so, report it to whoever you bought the printer from, because it's probably going to be covered under warranty. If it's happened with usage, you may still be able to warranty it, but it's actually not that expensive of a part to swap out. So,
no, it's not. Paul Cumber, hello, sir. David Harmon, have you talked to Iron yet? Yes, we have talked a little bit about Iron, or Iron or Aeron. Aeron probably is the, Aeron.
Paul Cumber is asking a great question. What will make your filament pop when you 3D print?
Moisture. Moisture in your filament. That is the only way it is going to pop, is if your filament has been left out and it has too much moisture in it, it will pop and sizzle as it is coming out of the extruder.
Because
it's getting rid of that. What's that?
Plastic absorbs moisture. You know, that's a common thing, is you won't feel it, but the plastic will actually suck moisture out of the air. And that's why here in Alberta, actually, we don't have too many problems because the air is so incredibly dry. But if you are on a west coast or close to sea level and all that, yeah, you're going to have a lot more problems. And we've spoken about some filament dryers on the channel. We've spoken about even all the other YouTubers that have spoken about how to dry your filament. There are tons of options. But if you're hearing bubbling, it's bad. It's you need to get that thing to a dehydrator.
Yes, very much so. You need to take the moisture out, is basically what he's saying. Watch some YouTube videos. If you're interested in a commercial solution, you can go ahead and buy yourself the eSun filament dryer. I've used it at the shop. There's one sitting out on our showroom floor. I've used it. It works decently. It does what it says it's going to do. It takes a little bit of time to get that moisture out. But if you have a food dehydrator, there are several videos out there that will show you how to do it with a food dehydrator very safely. Okay, so that pretty much answers.
Yeah, we're creeping up on that time, and I'm hearing rumbling in the sky, so I think there's another thunderstorm rolling in here.
Yes. Oven at 150 Fahrenheit for 4 to 8 hours. Rover, as much as I agree with that's the way you should do it, not everybody, and I've seen some disasters recently where people's ovens just don't get down low enough to allow them to dry it in the oven, and they've literally melted it.
And just remember too, okay, for those of you who aren't aware of ovens, they're really not that precise temperature-wise.
No, that's right.
And in fact, the way an oven works is it's like your hot end, but it's not very fast in reactions. So I have definitely lately seen some melted spools, let alone the filament, just melted spools, okay? So if you guys want, mention in the chat, and I'll post it over on the Facebook group, the dehydrator that I bought. I think it was about $60, and I just chopped out the insides, and you throw the filament in there. Now, it doesn't spool out right into the printer, but all you need at the end of the day is a food dehydrator, a big old Ziploc bag, and a packet of desiccant to keep it dry after that. Then once it's on the printer, as you can see behind me here, I just leave it on my printer. That and it's good for weeks, at least here. It's
Yep,
always a good
I agree.
habit. Get it off your printer though as soon as you're done with it.
Rover says Ron over at Canadian Maker Project has a video on dehydrator mods, so go check that out. With
Everybody's
that
taking their
said,
own approach, so
we are coming to the end, guys. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to thank Brian for being with me tonight. We're back
thanks.
again next Saturday. On Monday, you're going to see another painting tutorial on that guy behind me. We're going to be doing some more work on him. And when is the video for the SKR coming? RT comes in at the last minute and just scoops up. RT, you can come see me in the shop and we'll discuss how to put your SKR into your 3D printer.
There's an old meme out there. It's entitled "Soon." Trademark.
Yeah, it's called Soon. Coming soon.
Coming
Coming
soon with
soon
a
to a
trademark.
channel near you. So again, thank you everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a long day for me. I taught all day. I've been up since 5:30 this morning. So I'm going to go and spend a couple of moments with my wife. I'm going to maybe have a cup of tea before I go to bed. And then I'm going to go have a snooze because 7 a.m. comes early and my wife wants to go grocery shopping. So I love all you guys. I love you, Brian. And we will see you guys on the other side on Monday and again on Wednesday when we have a brand new episode. So until we see you, remember that the first layer is always your foundation to a great print.
See ya.